Welcome to the latest episode from Garbalino Midland Match. This video is another request. We had a message off a lovely lady who's just started fishing probably, I think she said 12 or 18 months ago. Really keen, really enthusiastic, which is what we want in the sport. She's asked us to come out and cover a sort of tip fishing carp approach on a commercial, or the lakes that are local to her, but in a way that's aimed more at pleasure anglers than the match anglers. Whereas we, as match anglers, we'd quite happily go out and we'd take 3 or 4 rods with us. You'd have a bomb rod, I don't know, a hybrid rod and a maggot feeder rod. She wants to approach it with just one rod, which is 90% of pleasure anglers do. That the one rod and the rig will cover everything she needs. So we're going to start 9-foot super picker, favourite rod in the Garbalino range. Proper soft, proper responsive, ideal for this sort of short chucks on the commercials. 6-pound mainline. We've got simple setup, feeder link. This one's one of Dean Barlow's, but there is others out there. Free running down to a float stop, and then a little twisted boom just to kick the hook length away from the swivel and stop any tangles. Simple case, little 10-gram bomb, just clip that onto the snap swivel. Down to a 15-inch hook length of 0.17, 16 Garbalino power feeder hook, knotless knot, with a little quick stop and 3 10mm punch Dista breads. That's just what we're going to start with today. The benefit of this setup, as we said, the one rod does all type approach. It's just a simple case of unclasping that snap swivel and swapping that bomb for a maggot feeder, swapping your hook length over, and you're ready to go with the maggot feeder straight away. So your one rod will cover you all for that type of fishing. It is a proper crisp winter's morning. As most things, trying to balance filming and around work life and family life, we're very time limited. So it's 10:30 in the morning. I've just dropped the kids to school. It's a proper bad frost last night, 1 degree. Everything was white over. So ideal for the bomb and bread, really. We're down at Moorlands today on Meadowpool, Peg 11. Grant's kindly said we can come and film for the day. Hopefully, I've got to get back to pick them up from school, so hopefully we've got a couple of hours. I can get a couple of pulls on the bomb and bread, swap over to the maggot feeder. Just literally got, they are looking a bit worse for wear, but a few maggots and pinkies that I had left over from the weekend, last weekend. Hopefully get a couple on the bomb and bread, swap over to the maggot feeder, get a couple on that, and hopefully we'll just have a nice couple of hours fishing. The sun's out. It is a lovely winter's day. Not a breath of wind on the lake. Very cold. It's just proper nice winter's fishing. So hopefully get a few bites. As I said in the intro, we're down on Meadowpool today, Peg 11, the infamous bowl, which does tend to hold a fair few carp in the winter. Got the whole lake to ourselves. There's nobody else on here. So hopefully, not going to bother clipping up. We're just going to chuck it out to the middle of the bowl, and hopefully it won't be long before we get a bite. You haven't got to go far. About 25 metres. The good thing about the bomb and bread is you can move around the peg. You're not feeding anything. You're basically dobbing with the bomb. If we have no joy there, we can try other areas of the bowl. We can go a bit further, come a bit shorter. Very much a roaming style rig. I don't tend to do this style of fishing in the winter as often as I'd like. I tend to swap to the silvers in the winter. More active. Do enjoy that style of fishing. But it is nice every now and then to come out and have a couple of chucks for a carp. When the weather's like this, bad frost, I think went down to -4 last night. I was surprised there was no ice on the lakes. But I would always start with bomb and bread when it's like this, especially if you're carp fishing. This was in a match. I'd bomb and bread it for the first couple of hours. Try and snare as many bonus fish as I can. And then once the sun's come out and he's warmed up a bit, then swap to the maggot feeder. Start introducing a bit of bait. The lady that messaged Ellen from up north, she does run a little Facebook group. I think it's Course Fishing Enthusiasts UK, or UK Course Fishing Enthusiasts. It's a great little group. She set it up, and it's just basically a group of people that have just started or just pleasure anglers who like to share the catch shots, offer tips and advice. It is nice to see. So if you are just a pleasure angler, definitely worth logging on Facebook and asking to join that group. They are a great bunch of people on there. Everyone's really friendly, all trying to help each other out and trying to get each other bites, which is nice for the sport. It's what it needs. So definitely check that out if you're on there. This style of fishing also, it's dead simple. So for someone who's just started, perfect. I mean, they're a bit sweaty and manky at the minute because they're a week old. But we've literally just got a pint of leftover maggots. So what, £4 if you bought a pint of maggots in the shop? A couple of slices of bread. And your actual setup take you less than 5 minutes to sort out. So for plus your day ticket, you're talking 10-15 quid. You can have a great day's winter fishing. Hopefully get some carp on the bank. You don't need to spend a fortune. And you don't need to set up the earth to get bites either. The bomb and bread. Great winter tactic for carp, as I said. I don't think it acts as we think. I don't think it pops up completely off the bottom the whole length of your hook length. But obviously the bread swells up, which is why you have the longer hair. I think it just pops up a couple of inches off the bottom. It's just sort of waving around and floating around. It just catches the carp's eye. You're not feeding anything, so I'd probably have sort of 10 this time of year with the weather and the cold. I'd probably have 10-15 minute casts, something like that, and then move. If you see any signs of life, like it is flat calm today, there's not a breath of wind. So if you do start seeing any indications of where the fish might be, just reel in and chuck over to them. As I said, you're just trying to get bites. Alright, we've had that first 15-minute cast. We haven't had a sign. But like I said at the start, it's flat calm like this. Don't just stare at your tip the whole time. Have a look around. As even in the depths of winter, the carp will still reveal themselves to you. So look for signs on the water. During that bite, I did see a few bubbles slightly further out into the bowl, sort of 3/4 the way across. I've just cast out on top of them. As with the winter carp, they're nowhere near as active as they are in the summer. And they could be balled up. It could be shoaled up, a group of them, huddled together, sort of 5-10 metres past you, and you will never get a bite. If you do see, I mean, we've got the added benefit of being the only ones in the bowl today. Obviously on a match you're a bit more limited. If you're pleasure fishing and there's no one else here, take advantage of the extra room. Just keep looking around, keep looking for signs of fish. Either fish moving in the upper layers in that thermocline, patches of bubbles, just signs of life. They will reveal themselves to you. And because you are on the bomb and bread and you're not putting any bait in, it does give you the freedom to cast around. Maggot feeder's slightly different, as you are putting loose bait in. You don't want a whole spread of bait. Plus side with the maggot feeder is within 10-15 minutes your bait's gone. They've buried themselves in the silt. So you can still roam around with the maggot feeder. You do tend to, with the maggot feeder, you tend to want to stick to a certain area and build up a swim. And with the bomb and bread, once you've had your first bite, you can get a couple of bites from the same general area. And the bomb and bread means you have found a little shoal of carp. Right on cue. Just jumped up to check the camera and we've had a bite. That's not some good advertising for the old grip arrests. Don't know what is. That was probably 10 minutes into our fourth 15-minute cast. It was the third patch of bubbles or activity that I've cast to. Probably 50 minutes, 55 minutes for our first bite, which in the winter you can't really grumble about. Really hope the cameras picked that up, because I didn't even get to the camera before the rod flew around. Lovely. Meadow mirror. But it just goes to show, even when the temperatures are rock bottom like today, you can still come out, get a bite or two. See if he'll behave for the camera. Still quite lively. That, just what you want on a cold winter's day. 50 minutes into our little mini 2-hour session. That was just a little basic guide to bomb and bread fishing. And now with the benefit of this rig, you can simply unclip that bomb, swap the hook links over, we'll have a crack on the maggot feeder, see if we can get you one on that. Right, we've just swapped over to the maggot feeder. Versatility of that rig, simply unclasp the snap swivel, swap the bomb for a little 20 gram Camazon black cap maggot feeder, and then swap the hook length over. We've now got on a 12-inch 013 to 8 and 18 B911. I think that first video just showed the benefit of casting around your peg, searching for that bite with the bomb and bread, casting to signs of fish. Pretty much dobbing with a lead. This one is less selective, so you will get your silvers on this. And I tend to try and stick to a same general area and build a swim up, as opposed to casting it around and putting bits of bait everywhere. Double red maggot on the hook. Few pinkies, few maggots in the feeder. Pick my marker on the far bank. I'm just literally casting 20 metres. We have a few regular 5-minute casts to begin with, just to put some bait down. It is a bit earlier than I normally do this. It's on a match in these conditions. We have 3 hours chucking that bomb and bread around, trying to snare a few bonus big fish like the one we had. And then I'd start introducing some bait for that final 2 hours. And the sun's been on the water, it's warmed up a bit. It's later on in the day, they're more likely to respond to a bit of bait going in. Plus side with the maggot feeder though, it's not as selective, so you will get your silvers, you get everything, catch everything that swims basically. But hopefully it won't take us long before we get a few indications. Meadow down here at Moorlands, especially this end, the bowl end tends to be the more productive end. There's so many fish in here, of all species. Obviously got your carp in your F1s. Carp sort of anything from £3 up to small 20s. I think the biggest one out of here is 23, big common. I had him twice so far, 21 and 23. And then you've got your F1s. The F1s are giants in here. Anything from sort of £2.5–3 on average. But they do go up to £6–7. And then obviously you've got your absolute bucket loads of silvers. Your bream, sort of £3–4. You got your skimmers from anything from like 2 ounce to £1.5–2 £2. Roach, rudd, perch, per big perch to £2 £2.5. I do reckon they grow bigger as well. I do reckon there's some 3+ in here. We've also got the odd eel that's come in from the where it's spring fed. Grass carp, a few of them in here, little stocky ones. Well, that explains why I wasn't getting a bite. I just had a crayfish on that just fell off the net here. Sadly, we've been fishing probably 20 minutes, half hour on the maggot feeder. We haven't managed a fish, but we are very pressed for time, as I said earlier. But I've got no doubt if you carried on plugging away, into trickling that little bit of bait through the feeder, as the day went on, it warmed up fractionally. The fish would start being a bit more active and you would get some bites. But the main thing was just to show the versatility of the rig for those pleasure anglers that do just want the one rod approach. We've used it today with the bomb and the maggot feeder, but you could use anything you want. You could use a little 2-square cage feeder if you wanted to fish with ground bait. You could use a winder feeder. It's just that the actual setup is so versatile. And it's ideal for pleasure anglers who just literally want the one rod approach. We did manage that nice mirror carp on the bomb and bread with about £7, £6–7. We've only been fishing, what, hour and a half, if that. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope it's covered what we was asked to cover. And if you can, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would be massively appreciated. And also, if there is any other requests you want to see us go out and film, then just message us and let us know. Or leave a comment below on the video and we'll do our best to get out there. We'll see you on the next one.